Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. And as I have been telling you, I am laser focused on XRP, the digital asset, but particularly the information, the news, the progress for on-demand liquidity. Because these last few months, boy, the momentum to go digital has been like no other time. It's moving faster than anyone expected. And I think this window of opportunity for Ripple is very key right now. Take, for example, Australia. You know, in their cashless effort, they said that they saw more progress in going cashless in the last 5 months, which they thought was going to take 5 years. So it is happening very fast. And there is a video that came out today from the IIF, and it's titled The Digital Currency Future. There are 3 panelists, and I think you're going to like what you hear. It's interesting. Camilla Bullock, she is the lead for policy in the Payments Association in Asia. Then there's James Lloyd. He's in Hong Kong. He's with EW or EY. He is a financial expert when it comes to the digital transformation for the institutions. And then Jesse McWaters with MasterCard. He is part of their digital public policy. He's in New York. He's an expert on the central bank digital currencies, the CBDCs, but he is also on the advisory board for the digital dollar. I think you'll be surprised to hear what he says about the digital dollar. We are not as close as you might think, and there seems to still be a lack of a clear point of view. Have a listen.
Personal capacity. What are the objectives of the project briefly, and also what is MasterCard's potential role in any implementation?
Yes, that's correct, Lawrence. I sit on the Digital Dollar Advisory Council in a personal capacity. I think it's a really interesting initiative with a really wide-ranging set of goals, interested in looking at how a digital dollar, most likely tokenized, though potentially also considering versions of it that could be account-based, that would be useful in in retail use cases, in wholesale use cases, such as enabling more efficient securities settlement, as well as in cross-border use cases. And so really running the gamut through thinking about the potential for a digital dollar to transform aspects of retail payments and access to payments within the United States domestically, all the way through to how a digital dollar could play a role in helping preserve the dollar as the world's dominant reserve currency. And so really, I think that's an initiative that's just kicked off. It's about bringing the dollar into the next century, if you will, but without yet a clear point of view on how to do that. By contrast to something, say, like the Bank of England's recent discussion paper, which has a very clear and focused model for what it's looking to deliver and how it would roll that out were it to choose to pursue it.
So they just kicked it off, but they have a lot of work to do still. All right, now then we're going to listen to Ms. Bullock, and she's really speaking directly about cross-border payments in the Southeast Asian region, which we know Ripple is having a lot of success in, and especially when it comes to ODL. And she talks about how going after these SMEs is going to really be, I think, a strong focus because there's lots of money to be had and there's lots of development. So have a listen to this.
Do you expect WhatsApp to follow up on its Brazil launch with a similar payment service in Asia? What is the significance of Facebook and PayPal investing in Gojek, the Indonesian ride-hailing service?
So it's very linked. So I'm just going to add one thing to the last question, and it's what we're talking a lot about when we go into political also is cross-border payments, because we do know it's such a huge value. I think it's like 3 trillion goes through the SWIFT network every day. And of course, remittance and small business transactions are not that a big part of it. But when we're looking at what's happening in Southeast Asia and what Libra and what WhatsApp did in Brazil, they are really going for that small to medium business transactions, and then it is a great tool. And that's what we've seen also that's been developing so much in Southeast Asia. We saw the huge uptake on Grab and Gojek and going in the same trajectory. So Gojek is the taxi, when you get taxis in Indonesia, that now has developed into a complete financial ecosystem. It has millions of users. And could that actually then be the next payment system? And seeing that both Facebook and also like one of the first participants in Libra, like PayPal, that dropped out, is now also invested into Gojek. So you can see some sort of collaboration going on that could be that last mile of usage of a digital currency. And we see a similar development in India, where Facebook has invested in Jio, which is a telecommunication provider, and also it has like thousands of users, in India being one of the biggest countries for remittance. So is it a play on that cross-border payment and how to solve that? And I think cross-border payments is one of the big issues we have in the payments industry. Like, it is, yes, not so much has happened. Of course, we've seen companies like TransferWise coming out, and we're seeing a lot of play on digital also with companies like Ripple. But it is an issue that needs to be solved, and it's lots of money in it. So I think we'll see lots of development in there, and I do think that WhatsApp and Facebook will be part of it.
So she recognizes that Ripple is in this space, TransferWise is in this space, and she does see Facebook with the WhatsApp going forward. So the question I have, of course, is will we see Ripple be able to do a collaboration in some way so that it's beneficial as a win-win with Facebook, or is Facebook going to try to grab market share away from Ripple? I don't know that yet, but you can bet I'm going to be paying attention. So the XRP community, well, it's interesting. You know, we have these buzz phrases that seem to take on a life of their own, especially the one that's often heard, the level playing field. Well, I can find an early use of that back in June 2001 with an article in the central banking media. And, you know, I think that, yeah, it's just kind of funny because as of late, it seems like the flywheel is that same kind of buzz phrase. But I can tell you that this is actually back from a concept that was developed in a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. And it's about building momentum. And it is to the point where you get this breakthrough and beyond. And that's why yesterday's video, I talked about it when Andreessen Horowitz Ali was using it to describe how the cryptocurrency business models, the blockchain business models are really very much based on this momentum where it takes this constant turning with all of the synergy that you can build around you to get that flywheel to move so you do have that breakthrough and can go beyond. So this is not a Ripple phrase at all. It is a business phrase that's been used since this book came out. And then I'm going to take you to the new Ripple drop. This is episode 20. And look at Reinhardt Kate. He has a mustache, which I think looks great. Yeah, people have kind of transformed after a lot of this stay-at-home initiative. And here he's going to be talking to the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse. And you can see, wow, this is a really long episode. 21 minutes, which seems to be longer than it usually is. There's something interesting, though, before I play this portion of the video, and that is Ripple seems to be in a position of strength right now. And with this strength, they are going to look, according to Mr. Garlinghouse, how to strategically take advantage of that and grow the business. So we could see it through deals. We could see it through investments, and we also could potentially see acquisitions. I can't wait. This is when the time in a company's lifeline, when they mature to a point where they can actually get some potential acquisitions, it becomes very exciting. So I can't wait to see that. But here we're going to focus in on when they talk about on-demand liquidity. So have a listen to this.
Using XRP to transact. Is there any threat on its ability to settle if there's significant volatility on the underlying digital asset?
Look, as I was just saying, I think first and foremost, on-demand liquidity has incredible utility for customers, and I think we're seeing that now as much as ever. And we're getting that feedback directly from our customers, even more so now that we've heard things like it's been a lifesaver.
Yeah, so I wanted to play that because the fact that he's getting that kind of feedback that it's been a lifesaver really does show that for people in this space of trying to move money in the time where the fluctuations within currencies are really great. And you're going to see that in the next portion of this video where Kate is talking to Ashish Birla, and people don't want to pre-fund anymore. You've got fluctuations that are in the upward area of 30%. That's just crazy. You don't want to park money around the world and have that kind of fluctuation. That just doesn't make business sense. And when you think about banks who have 200 correspondent banking partners, that means they have to park millions of dollars all around the globe just in case they want to execute on a cross-border payment in that corridor. If you have the option not to pre-fund, of course you're going to choose not to pre-fund. And Ripple, I think, is when they start building the liquidity required in these corridors, oh my gosh, that flywheel is going to go so fast. All right, have a listen to this portion here where Reinhardt is talking to Ashish.
Making sure that we're delivering. How does Ripple in general and even your team stay focused on delivering to RippleNet customers in this new environment?
Yeah, so I think number one, I think that this environment is challenging for everyone, and so one thing is ensuring that we have empathy for what our customers are going through and all their challenges. And more than not, I've seen that there's a lot of new kinds of product features that we could potentially build for these customers that solve big problems for them that are only larger now with the pandemic. So, for example, we hear more now than prior to the pandemic that folks do not want to pre-fund global currencies around the world. Why? Because, for example, the peso has depreciated 30% against the dollar. That's 30% less cash that our customers have globally. And so listening to these customers and them telling us where their pain points are, and some of these pain points are even larger, helps us become better, better solution providers, helps us be more empathetic to some of their needs, and at the end, helps us develop a better product for them.
There you go. So this is, where XRP really shines. It provides that it's mitigating the risk when you actually are holding the foreign currencies around the world, but also too, it saves money because it just doesn't make sense to pre-fund, like I said, when you have a solution. And that is the value proposition with the digital asset XRP. All right, so now we're going to jump to Flash FX. There are a lot of changes happening. This is the ODL user in Australia, and they have a new CEO, and they also have a new fresh round of $5 million in funding, which will allow them to further develop and build out its B2B offering. I think you're going to see them go after the SME market as well. And this is a tweet that he put out just a couple of hours ago that he's very excited to start as CEO of the you know what? It's FX Flash. I think it's Flash FX. Yeah. How strange, huh? He's got this I think it's they have their Twitter site at FX Flash. Okay. And he'll be working with the co-founder Stiger Nicholas, who I interviewed last year, and I think it's time to call him up and interview again, because this is going to be the next leg of the company's exciting journey, and he's going to work closely with the partner of Ripple, and Flash FX are reshaping the whole narrative of B2B cross-border finance. So there you go. There you have it. And also, so happy to see that Dilip Rao joined the Flash FX as an advisor. This is great. He was with Ripple and was in New York as their global head of infrastructure and innovation. And I'm just so happy that he didn't decide to just kick up his feet and read books all day, but that he's going to stay a little bit busy. And who better to help Flash FX with this new round of funding than Dilip, who is very effective in this space. It's really great. All right, I'm going to jump to the fluff, everyone. Yeah, I'm just going to do a quick fluff today on how these new times are so strange. Now, when you go to the baseball game they had their opening game in Tokyo on Friday night, and you can see here that they were greeted with a robot. So not so surprising because Japan loves its robots, but yeah, I just think we're going to see more and more robots instead of real human beings in this new norm. And then here is somebody I really want to talk about because she just gives me this inspiration. It's a Japanese art director. Her name is Masako Hirano, and she lives in Berlin right now. She's lived there since 2019, but she's full of this fresh spunk and personality, and she launched a new pop-up store here in Shibuya, Tokyo. I want to show you what it looks like. It looks very chic, very fancy. For a pop-up store, this is very fancy. And what is she selling? Well, she is selling very unique and eye-catching masks. Some with manga-inspired illustrations. This one is a Tokyo at night photograph. You can see the Tokyo Tower in the middle there. And also, there's Mount Fuji. I love them. They're washable. They run about $28. They have a silk fabric on the inside. And I think what's most important about this story is that they are using a kimono company to manufacture them. And that is so important because the kimono manufacturers are really having a hard time in Japan now. And so the fact that they can reinvent themselves and transform into a new product makes me very, very happy. And I think even after the changes come for a safe world, I think Japan is going to keep its mask culture. It had a very strong mask culture before. I think it's going to continue to just grow and develop, and these designer masks are just going to get bigger and bigger and better. I think it's kind of fun for a change to see this new evolution of the mask. All right, everybody. Yes, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.